Greetings, folks, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pilot Review Show. I am Captain Blade J52, and I am joined by my merry band of cohorts. We have everyone's favorite RP hologram, Sir Artie.
Hey, guys.
And we have everyone's favorite teacher, the teacher of the Kirby variety.
Yeah, those Kirbys, all they want to do is eat. It's nice to get a break from them. Glad to be here, folks.
We're running just a little bit behind this evening. I blame the Pakled ensign that beamed all of my stuff to the wrong starship. That very nearly made it to Alpha Draconis before we realized something was up. Yeah.
Hey, that Pakled said he could make things go.
Yeah, that was my fault for
And he
trusting
did.
him with a transporter. He just didn't say where it's gonna go. So, yeah, there's that. But, anyways, I suppose we should go ahead and get started. We have up front the weekly blog for the consoles.
Okay, for the consoles, the Temporal Agent Weekly Rewards Week 6. Cool. Alright, for Week 6, as per usual, you do the certain tasks that you can get and the server-wide bonus that you get from it. This week's task, you have to complete queues and fleet actions, which is most likely going to get you where you're going. And for the bonus, you get a whole bunch of marks. So there you go.
Yep.
Nope.
So it's important those temporal agents do the queues and the fleet actions. And next week, everybody will get bonus marks. Yay!
One thing I do want to mention that they touched base on in the blog is there was some kind of an issue last week where the bonus energy credits and
Hammer joined the server.
Platinum, and let me turn those fanatics off before that gets me into trouble.
Oh,
Knowing this bunch.
yeah.
But,
Deck.
anyway, in the blog, they had an issue where the bonus energy credits and Gold Press Latinum did not appear this past week, so it is going along with this week as well, which is the double dilithium. So, you get a double dose of rewards this week to make up for it not being present, and this will run from the 21st until the 28th. So, yeah, there's that.
Yay. So enjoy your double day lithium. Do those queues and fleet actions.
But, moving on to our next big thing, we have the Season 12 Reckoning coming to consoles April the 18th.
And that's yours, man.
I am apparently out of it this evening. But, for our console
know,
captains, yeah. I swear I'm still half tired from tracking down that Pakled ensign. Go figure. But anyways, for our console players for the Xbox One and the PS4 on April the 18th, you will be getting the new Season 12 Reckoning, which will bring in the new Lucari missions. I believe this is where you get the Of Signs. Yep, this is the Of Signs Importance episode, where you can get access to the, I believe that is the Nausicaan set that comes from that one, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yes.
Is Yep.
Yep. And you will also be getting the new space queues for you guys, which is Gravity Kills and the Zenkethi Front. Two very interesting things that we have on the PC currently. But, yeah, you guys will have fun with those new queues and everything, and we did kind of talk about them in previous episodes, but I believe there's a few things out there you can kind of watch to get an idea of what you're in for.
Yes, and Gravity Kills definitely requires a tank. Just saying.
Most definitely.
And
Yeah.
all that engine power, you know?
Yeah, definitely the big thing with that one. It involves a black hole. All I could say is make sure you have your finger ready to hit that warp out button or you're going to go squish.
Yep.
But
Squish easy.
moving along to our next blog, we have an XP weekend for our console players.
Yes. So our console players, see, and you took it from March 23rd until March 27th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Players will be able to enjoy double the XP. I always love these. So this is your chance to get your lower level tunes up to that higher level, or get that captain up from 50 to 60. Whatever it is you need to do, now is the time to do all that leveling stuff that everybody puts off and just get her done. And this is on console, of course. So, yay, console players!
Oh yeah, can't wait for that.
Yep,
I desperately need
That's good
this
stuff.
weekend actually to get caught up.
yep.
I'm so far behind on my console characters, it's not even funny. But, moving along, we have the Zenkethi Invade console.
All right. Well, with the new season coming along, the Tinkethi are definitely going to be the newest enemy to the lot. And in this thread, it shows you the concept designs and how they came up with how the Tinkethi look. All the way up to their weapons, how they all stand up all weirdly, how they actually all have 4 arms instead of 2 just giant ones. It just take a quick look. It has all sorts of cool pictures and how they actually design them, and there you go.
Yeah, and then the fun little picture at the bottom, so you can see the average Zenkethi compared to the average, whatever you want to say we are as players.
Inferior carbon-based life forms.
Yeah, not exactly wrong, you know.
Now there have been some comparisons made to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in some of these.
I can see the
I don't
reference.
know.
It's a
I
little bit in their
can.
head.
Yeah, I can, but they definitely have an interesting look. And I do like it. So if you're interested in all that behind the scenes stuff, how do they come up with this, what you're going to be looking at, that kind of stuff, this would definitely be a blog you'd want to check out.
Absolutely.
Because it gets very in-depth.
But coming up on our next thing, we have the designing of the Zenkethi starships. But basically, this is similar to the one we looked at just a moment ago. Except this time around, they give us a look behind the scenes of how they come up with the starship designs for the Zenkethi, as well as some of the different processes used within it. You can kind of see some of the art creation in some of the photos, the different hull material that they used. Kind of see them building the big shell panels, then doing some of the 3D animating. Quite a bit goes into it. See the frontal view of their battleship, and then the underside. And one of the big Zenkethi dreadnoughts. Drone ships. So yeah, very fun stuff. If you've been wondering where they get the ideas from the ship, then I would definitely advise reading this particular blog.
Yes, definitely. Again, they go pretty in depth, so it gets pretty interesting sometimes.
Next, we have our PC patch notes for the 23rd.
Yes. So again, this is pretty short. The Voth melee weapon, the Furidon's Fangs, can now be reclaimed if it was unlocked through the Breach event project. Structural analysis to be spread to the player that cast it, so you don't want that because that is of course going to reduce your health. Damage from deteriorating secondary deflectors was lower than intended in some cases, so those are getting their boost back up. Universe class warp engine trails now appear correctly. Great, that was a game-breaking bug. I joke, of course. Fire torps and fire phasers torps commands were not firing bioneural warhead launchers. Let's see, change the messaging when typing to delete a mail with an item attached to let you know that the item will be deleted. And Tal Shiar adapted battlecruiser and destroyers use different name while dry docked. That was resolved. They now use the same name.
Could see that causing issues potentially.
Yeah, you go in to delete something in your dry dock and you think it's not the Tal Shiar adapted battlecruiser. And so you go, oh, I don't need that anymore, and then you realize that you just deleted your lockbox ship, the Tal Shiar adapted battlecruiser. Like, no! And you throw a huge fit and end up on the ground screaming and crying, no! And no. Of course you don't throw a big fit, but you know, you feel like you want to.
So pretty much politicians?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
But couldn't resist that shameless plug. But
couldn't resist it. Jeez. Ugh.
But
Okay.
moving along to our RP blog of the week.
Okay. One second, I had to get everything situated. The page was not moving. There we go. For this RP blog, the What Rough Beasts, actually give you a new spin on what everything else is affecting during this little skirmish war between the different groups of Tinkesi against everyone else, basically. I recommend it's a good read, just to figure out what's going on, and there you go.
It's interesting, the aliens were very different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. But definitely, if you enjoyed the RP blogs, following along with the story, this is definitely one you're going to want to check out. But moving along this week... Oh, go ahead, Kirby.
I was going to say, we're trying not to give too much away, because this is a very interesting one. But yeah, definitely the aliens in here are very different. And it is extremely interesting. Well done, cryptic writers, on this one.
Indeed. But moving along, we have our budget build for this week. This actually comes at the request of a viewer of ours. And the budget was actually a specified bit of parameters, different from what we normally do with our traditional budgets. Now,
Yeah, Selignar gave him an aneurysm on this one.
Yeah, he did. I love to pick at Selignar sometimes, but yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
But, anyway, he had requested a mid-range budget of 40 million energy credits for a level 50 tune with cannons and turrets. He wanted a torpedo front and aft, which included no epic items, no crafting at 15, and also supplied a skill tree for us and ship he wanted to work with. So, he had a pretty good basis to work with. It was just a matter of getting the last pieces to I guess what I'm trying to say is cohesively glue it together, I guess? However you'd want to say that.
Yes.
So, the ship...
Now,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say you should mention that we did, or you did, build this with the new changes in mind. So this will function without any changes needing to be made, even after the changes that are coming down the pike, as it were, that we know about. You won't have to make any changes, and this will still function as is for the budget build.
Yes. Now, at some point, I'm sure Slacknar might want to refine his skills a little bit. He may have what he already likes and everything. I just mentioned that because we will be getting a free respec with the new skill tree. That was something that Spartan did say on the forums. So I did want to go ahead and throw that out there for everybody. So if you are concerned about the new skill trees and everything, well, not necessarily the new skill trees, but the rebalance, then you are going to be getting a free respec just because of how much is actually changing.
Yes.
So, for the equipment and everything, he did want to use cannons, which are actually doing a lot better on Tribble than I had actually thought they would be. So, for cannons, we went with the Resonating Tetrion dual heavy cannons. These come with a chance and damage modifier, and they come from, I believe it is the Spoils of War mission, I think is what I put in the notes. So we have 3 of these up front, with a rapid reload transphasic torpedo from the Breen Arc as the torpedo for the ship. Now, I went with a rapid reload transphasic because of the increased shield bleed through that they have, in addition to the fact that it's probably the best console that I could find, or console, best weapon.
Torpedo.
Thank you. Torpedo, that thing that flies out of the front of the ship and goes boom.
Eh.
But,
Okay.
my brain farting aside, everything, we went with the rapid reload transphasic as the forward torpedo and also the aft torpedo, so we're running 2 of those.
Mm.
Then for the turrets, we went with 3 of the Resonating Tetrion turrets. Now, for whatever reason, I couldn't find them in the skill planner, so I just kind of bullcrapped it in the planner and made a note of it. But, as far as weapons go, I've actually used the Resonating Tetrion stuff myself beforehand, and the Rapid Reload Transphasic, so do have a little bit of experience with them. I think, as a cannon user, Slacknar should enjoy these. Should give him a good bit of knockdown power. Now, since he had a healthy budget of energy credits to work with, I decided to hook him up with an Aegis set. Now this is, if you remember the old crafting system, you used to be able to make this set on the Memory Alpha planet. Was pretty decent even back then, but it was, in my opinion, outclassed by a lot of other things. So ever since we have the new Aegis set, it's a lot better to use. It's a very cheap, easy to obtain set. Not too terribly expensive on the chain or on the exchange, but get a nice little set bonus with it as well. The Energy Feedback Conductor, I believe is the exact name of it. So, very cheap set to get yourself started. Then for the Warp Core, we went with the Obelisk Subspace Rift Warp Core. This was one of the better ones that I was able to find. This comes from the Sphere of Influence mission and is available to level 50 players. Then for the devices, we used a subspace field modulator that comes from the, forget the name of it, brain fart. What is, anyway, I can't think of the name off the top of my head. I'm apparently having a day. Kirby knows the mission name better than I do, but anyway, for the devices,
Skirmish.
Thank you.
Skirmish, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long weekend, folks. So if my brain is... that's why. But for the devices, I usually prefer to think of them as personal preference, but I do like to recommend the Subspace Field Modulator because it is a very nice device to have, especially for the defensive value that it gives. And it's a free device, easy to obtain, reusable, and has actually saved my butt more times than I can count. For the engineering consoles, since this is a Tetrion-based build, I decided to have him pick up a sticky web console. Now this is the one that poofs up the little Tholian web wall that a player can poof up, and can sort of act as a de facto gravity well to keep enemies back from a certain area. It also is a 25% boost to Tetrion damage, so it's essentially a free Tetrion tactical console in a way you can say. Then for the other engineering consoles, we went with 2 EPS flow regulators to help out with his power. These we actually picked up on the exchange for pretty cheap, even at the very rare. Then to give just a little bit of defensive value and everything, since there's not a lot of options yet available to a level 50 character just starting out, we went with a neutronium alloy armor for a bit of defensive value. For science consoles, we went with a field generator to increase shield capacity, and a emitter array to give him extra shield regen, so helping out with a bit of the defensive value. Then we also have an exotic particle field exciter to charge up one of his abilities we're going to take a look at in a minute. Kirby probably already knows what it is. But for the tactical consoles, we also have the pre-fire chambers. Now these come from the Terminal Expanse mission in the Yesterday's War story arc. In order to see the Terminal Expanse mission, you will need to have completed all of the prior missions, or it will not show up in the Yesterday's War arc. Now, I wanted to mention that because the Yesterday's War arc is one of the... actually, I believe it is the only arc that is set up like that in the game. In fact, you can kind of see what... I mean, here on this particular character of mine, he's not yet finished it, so the mission doesn't show up for him. But once I finish them on this character, he will be able to indeed pick up the mission. But we had 4 of the tactical consoles just for the cannons, so we did go with a bit of a sort of a jack of all trades with the tactical consoles. There wasn't really a mission I found that had a Tetrion console in the lower things. I may have overlooked it, but as far as equipment goes, that's what we have. It should give him a decent base as far as weapons and his shields and equipment go to work with. But for skills, we'll take a quick look at what he had so we can see, just to be thorough, everything that he had is his base. You can see kind of what he's working with. We've got some projectile skills. We've got our lieutenant rank skills. Wanted to beef up his hull capacity and shield capacity. Then went for his impulse expertise. Improved EPS flow. Some drain expertise there. I believe he had a point in hull plating. So you kind of see what he's going for with the build. Everything, it's a pretty decent little skill setup and everything, but did want to show that just so we can be thorough as we like to. For specializations, he is using Command and Strategist. Command allowing him to take more advantage of his torpedoes, as well as some of the other nice buffs that it gives. Strategist... oh, go ahead.
But I was going to say it is important to remember that he gave us the skill tree. This is what he came up with on his own, and we were told we could not change it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, like I'm saying, he had
If we'd been allowed, yeah, we would have made some changes.
yeah. I mean, even then, I mean, he's got a pretty good base to work with.
He does have a, yeah, he does have a pretty decent.
There's a few points I would have changed around, especially with the new tree. But again, it works. It's a very good base to work with, so...
Yeah.
And he may decide to refine it once we give him the build a little more. And may decide, well, he likes this better. But, anyways, like I say, we did want to kind of mention where we got the skills and everything from. But, as I was saying, yeah, command to take advantage of the torpedoes a bit more, as well as some of the other nice buffs that it gives. Strategist for the DPS buffs that it can give when you are not in threatening stance. So, pretty decent pairing as far as the specializations go. Then for the actual traits, this is where a little bit of money got spent. Now, at level 50, he's not really going to have that many starship traits to work with yet. A lot of the free ones that we would normally recommend, he's not really going to have yet, especially the best defense. That's a trait that we would normally recommend, but since he's not there yet. As far as the personal space traits go, you'll notice one trait in particular that I didn't normally recommend before, and that is the accurate space trait. With the incoming changes to fall, you will need some bits of accuracy, and even for cannons as well. You'll need some bits of accuracy in order to offset some of the changes to the various abilities.
The accuracy debuff for fire at will, and I believe there may be some on cannon scatter volley. I do not recall off the top of my head.
Scatter volley, and like I say, in my experience, just always didn't always hit the target as much as it should. And like I say, I always like to use the accuracy with the cannon abilities and everything. So that is one reason why I did want to recommend that and everything. But the next one we have is the Fleet Coordinator. This is free damage based on the size of the party. So up to 5 people, including himself. Then we have the Last Ditch Effort. This is the tactical specific career trait. If you're an engineer or a science officer and you wanted to use the build, you just need to swap over your career specific trait. We have the Operative, which is free critical chance and severity. We have the Living Hull trait. This comes from the Surface Tension mission. We have Innocuous, that way he doesn't draw threat as much, and a nice little chunk of severity as well, so something decent. We went with Ablative Shell. This will give him a bit of damage resistance and a heal in a pinch. We also went with Helmsman, that way he can use his evasive maneuvers more often. And then finally, the Cannon Training to increase the damage of his cannons and turrets. All of these are, except for Helmsman and Ablative Shell, all of these are free traits that you can pick up within the game, especially at level 50. But this brings us finally to our Bridge Officer powers. Now, since we're taking into account the cannons and we're taking into account the use of the torpedoes, kind of had to finagle the tactical abilities around a little bit from what I would normally recommend. But as far as
I can see it.
Yeah. As far as I guess we'll just start with the engineering, since the predefined seats are the easiest ones to start with. For the engineering, we went with an Engineering Team 1. Nice little heal in a pinch, purges certain debuffs. Then we have the Directed Energy Modulation. Pretty decent, cheap ability to use whenever you're just starting out at level 50. Then we have Emergency Power to Weapons 3. Gives us our energy damage boost as well as our additional weapons power. Then we have the reverse shield polarity 3 is a nice little defensive power. Everything recharges your shields in a pinch. For our Lieutenant Commander Science, we went with an engineering, or not engineering, but a Science Team 1. This will purge certain debuffs as well as give a little bit of shield regen. This will also clear those pesky subnucleonic effects. And we also have our Hazard Emitters 2 for the healing over time and the temporary damage resistance it gives, as well as purging certain debuffs, especially with the changes to Hazard Emitters now purging dot effects on Tribble. This is going to be an even more potent heal than what it was previously. Then we have our Gravity Well 1. This is, although this ability has taken a bit of a hit on Tribble, it is still a very nice control power nonetheless. The damage has been decreased slightly, but as he picks up more gear for the ship, as he kits out the tune a little bit better and everything than what I've given him starting out here, he'll be able to increase the damage of the Gravity Well itself. So it is going to be scaling a little bit more aggressively, actually a good bit more aggressively with the control expertise and everything. Then for our tactical abilities, this is where we start to see the damage dealing potential of the ship. For Lieutenant Tactical, I gave him a Tactical Team 1 and an Attack Pattern Beta 1. For the Ensign Universal Seat, I made that a Torpedo Spread 1. That way he can throw some of his transphasic torpedoes around at the enemy. Then for the Lieutenant Commander Universal Command Seat, we went with an Overwhelm Emitters 1. Nice little thing to drain some shields from the enemy and give him some shield energy back. We have our Cannon Scatter Volley 1. This will be the ability he uses whenever he wants to hit more than one target with his cannons. And then his Cannon Rapid Fire, which will allow him to throw more Pac-Man power pellets at the enemy. Little shout out to our good friend Creo there, had to say it. But as far as his bridge officers go, I tried to give him a decent balance since this is a level 50 tune that is just starting to kit out with everything and just coming up from the way I understood it from what he explained to me. But, any thoughts, guys?
Well, personally, I would have stuck with Area of Effect and put a Cannon Scatter Volley 2 instead of the Rapid Fire. But that's me. That's just personal preference.
Yeah, personally, for me, I would at least try to, even if we can't really spend EC that much, try to find all the pieces and make yourself a wide-angle forward cannon, heavy cannon of Tetrion. But these are good.
Is one thing I actually didn't consider was the wide angles, but
Yep.
there is actually a decent little bit of VC left over in the budget. We came in, actually let me check the notes. And then in the notes I made sure to be able to tell him, where he can get everything. He can see his EC cost, what he's looking at for the different items. There's a little over 5 million EC left in the budget, so he could probably get a pretty decent wide angle for that if he wanted to. So yeah, that is actually a good suggestion there, Artie.
No problemo.
So, I say this is pretty much what we've got for a budget build and everything for our good buddy Slaknar and everything. But, yeah, we'll have this in the notes so you can check it out. Maybe get some ideas if you're somebody that likes to run similar builds, everything, and hopefully that's able to help you out. As far as the bugs corner goes this week, I don't really have too awful much I can go into a lot of details with, or that I would feel comfortable going into a lot of details with, especially with all of the changes on Tribble going on. Now, there are a few that I can mention that I have had reported to me. One of which is the tactical fleet on Tribble. Some people are reporting that the critical chance and severity aren't being rewarded as far as the buff goes. That's a very big thing that a lot of people have said, and hopefully should get fixed pretty quick. But did have that little thing for you guys. As far as the bugs go, like I say, if you are seeing bugs, if you are experiencing issues, go to the forums, let them know, say, hey, this is what's happening. Go into your respective forum for PS4, Xbox, PC, whatever it is, say, hey, this is what's up, and everything. If you can get screenshots or videos of it happening, that's even better, because that can be used to help reproduce the issue and help them get it fixed. But I am doing a lot of testing on Tribble for you guys as well, and everything. Once we see a bit more of the final iteration of the patch, I can kind of go into a bit more detail with any issues I see there. But pretty much what we've got for the Bugs Corner this week. But coming up on Teacher's Corner, we have the Crafting for Fun and Profit. Take it away, Kirby.
Yep, I decided to let my inner Ferengi out and go over crafting for fun and profit. So, you always hear craft at Mark II, and but nobody says why, and craft beams. But okay, well, what kind of beams, and what mods am I looking for, and what do I do with all the ones that fail? And so I go over all of that. And I show how you can make a profit. I even actually went, gasp, and bought 5 Crit D2 pens and leveled them up, and showed how, even though I bought them at Mark II, I still was able to at least double my money on every single one as I leveled it up just to Mark 8. So, and I explained why we only level it up to Mark 8, unless, of course, you're going to keep it for yourself, etc., etc. I explained all those lovely things. So, check it out. We'll have you being have you acting like a Ferengi yet.
Sounds cool. Honestly, I'll be using that quite a bit.
Yay.
Just saying, if you had bought any DMG3s and you tried to level them, everything, probably wouldn't have had the luck I did. Just saying.
No, because you've got the luck cornered on the DMG3 market. Well, I figured the game had to give me some luck on the Crit D2 pens, because it was my birthday yesterday.
Yay!
Yeah, it was the 11th anniversary of my 29th birthday.
Rough translation, she's 40. Oh, did I say that?
The 11th anniversary of my 29th birthday. That's my husband back there.
Yeah, not that I would ever pick on Kirby or anything,
No. Not that he would ever pick on me, no.
Yeah. Kirby still is, she kind of hates me because in one weekend through the crafting system, I dropped about 50 pedigree beams, DMG4s and Crit D4s.
Yep.
But moving on to our final segment of the evening, we have in the RP Corner with Artie, bounty hunting and mercenary work. Should be fun. Take it away, Sir Artie.
Alright, so say your character may be a little sketchy. They don't like working for Starfleet or Klingons or the Republic, for the Romulan Republic, for all that matters. Maybe they do know a lot about blowing stuff up for a living. But maybe they just don't like following rules and strict regulations about uniform and just want to live free. Well, here's a job for you. There's actually more in the Klingon Empire, they have a not exactly a strict regulation towards it, but but pirates and marauders and such like that are pretty much allowed to help out the Klingon Empire whenever they go, hey, we need this and we don't need it to come back to us. Yeah, sure, we'll take care of that. We'll totally go in, steal this, and make sure no connections are towards you. Maybe someone goes, hey, I need you to go get this criminal for me, and he may be connected to the Orion Syndicate. Well, send a bounty hunter. This guy will probably come in taking down 40 other guys, but you'll get that one guy you're looking for. And if someone says, hey, I'll pay you a handsome amount of money if you just protect me for a weekend, hey, mercenary work, freelancing, that stuff works great. Now getting to the more personal side to it, I actually have a character that is a bounty hunter, and even though there's not much explaining how they work in Star Trek, I've bent the rules a little bit. I've bent it in the way that you could basically look and go, wait, isn't this the Bounty Hunter Guild from Star Wars? I'm pretty sure I saw this before. Well, basically in the area of space where I have my bounty hunter, there is a bounty hunting or mercenary head that just goes, hey, I got a job for you, tosses you the paperwork, and you go off and do it. And then you come back and they get a cut of the share, and you get maybe enough to get another torpedo? Just one torpedo?
Oh god, he's a Mandalorian.
Oh lord.
I'll have you know, my character's actually a Reman that hates other Remans. So, somewhere along that line I could see where you're getting with that. But, among other things, yeah, there have been known to be, humans going out there for mercenary work going, hey, I'm going to just take this gun, I'm going to get paid for this, and I'm going to go beat up something. But the other way around is that bounty hunting, mercenary work, freelancing is not exactly piracy. Piracy, you're out on your own going, hey, that ship looks right for the picking. You take it, take anything on it. Maybe you take the crew, who knows. But for bounty hunting and all that, that's legal, more or less. You get paid with a salary or whatever on whatever job it is, and you go do it. Now, it may not be legal wherever you're doing it, but somewhere it's legal. So
Yep.
that's something you got to think about when someone goes, hey, I need you to go kidnap this Federation civilian. You sure I'm not gonna get all of Starfleet coming after me with hey, you're public enemy number one? Maybe not. Hopefully not. I have been in some scuffles with Starfleet going, hey, I'm gonna need that experimental technology you have there. What do you mean I'm not allowed to have it? Pew! Done. It's mine now. Runs off. But what happens? What happens?
So basically,
Sounds
you're a
like a very-
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Sounds like a very interesting lifestyle,
Oh yeah. The other way around this is that you get to look at a more lax kind of lifestyle to RP. You get to basically wake up at your own hours, get to do your things, and then you got to think. My character's got to be a little bit of Ferengi in me. You got to look at it and go, well, what am I going to do on my off time? I got to make sure I get 3 meals, somewhere to sleep. Maybe I should cozy up with the Starbase commander and go, hey, if I take care of some odd jobs for you, maybe you can get me a hangar for my starship and maybe a room. If not,
So then how do you, or do you even worry about justifying it with the story that you're a captain of a starship and work for either the Federation, work for either Starfleet, the KDF, or the Romulan Empire, or the Romulan Republic?
well, the story I get with it is that not every bounty hunter needs to have, oh, I'm going to fly in with a Enterprise J class whatever ship going, yeah, I'm a bounty hunter, this is my ship. say hi.
Right, but I
But
mean, with the
I,
story arc, you work for one of these organizations.
true. Sometimes it leads up to having a contract with said organization. For the Klingons, they are slightly lax. As long as you do their odd jobs, you pay fees and such like that. You can get away with most things. The Romulan Republic is, they kind of see it as, playing around with fire because it's like, oh, you're just doing stuff that we can have our own intelligence services do, and we don't have to pay them as much. And the Federation just don't condone piracy, even though it's not piracy. It's a civilian kind of job when you look at it. They don't. Starfleet and the Federation don't like vigilantes.
No, they don't.
But hey, all you have to do is basically go, hey, I'm going to help you guys out. Maybe the civilian contractor went, hey, I just need you to find this person. Hey, I'm going to go do that. But if I do run into you guys, I'll try not to shoot you. But kind of get in the way of my prize here. I still need to get paid, and I still need meals. I'm still hungry here. I mean, I need to get that guy to get paid. So it gets a little offhanded depending on who you work for. Sometimes, just when you're on, say you regularly go to a Starfleet installation as your roleplay spot, and you're, say, a bounty hunter or a mercenary or something. You may not really get much work there, but they most likely would give you, temporary lodging, maybe some way of fueling up your ship before you go on to your next adventure. Who knows? Sometimes it's just drifting every so often until you find that one job to go, okay, I think I can settle now, and look at Starfleet going, haha, you can't get me now behind all my bars of Latinum.
I can see that having its fun advantages.
Yes, it could.
Whenever there's a cruel judicial system, there's always a bounty hunter there to make sure they get some profit out of it.
Oh yeah, that guy, he completely blew up my ship and plundered me blind, but, here's a phaser rifle, here's a bar of latinum, shoot him in the back for me. Not that I would do that or anything. But anyways, folks, that's I guess what we've got for the RP segment this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Which that means...
Yep. But anyways, folks, that's pretty much what we've got for this evening. If as well you would like to see more shenanigans, more craziness as we keep working towards our Vegas trip, and you'd like to support us, then we do have a GoFundMe that you can donate to. Any little bit will help. Even if you can't donate cash, but you can just spread the word, any little thing is appreciated. This goes towards covering the cost of electricity, internet, and the expenses as the tables and everything as well. So if you want to see us out there to get more dev interviews, more interviews with some of the stars, then pass the word on. If you're able to donate cash, that is greatly appreciated too. Whatever it is greatly appreciated, and we do thank you fine folks for that.
Remember, this will let us bring the Vegas experience to you.
Yes,
so help us out.
We will be live streaming from Vegas, everything again this year, so hopefully we're able to get out there and get everything put together for you guys. But bit of a thing as well. Also, be sure to check out the Tribble server and everything with all the changes going on. There is a lot to it. You guys are going to want to check that out, even if it's just for a few minutes, because of how everything is changing. Plan accordingly and whatnot. Also, if you have a ship you'd like for us to help you with, as far as your piloting goes, feel free to submit that to us in-game or through our website and everything, and we will gladly help you guys out. But anyways, folks, that is our show for this evening. Hopefully you found our information of use. Again, I apologize for us getting started late and whatnot. Darn that Pakled ensign. But For now, folks, Pilot Review is warping out of here.
See ya!
Catch you later.